Enough with the toolbox videos. Window regulator. Underneath the toolbox? Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna tell you a story. People like kind of story time. They don't like story time. I don't care, but story time is what makes people who they are and give you something to talk about instead of not talking about anything. Window regulator. This is the window regulator out of the left rear window of the ghetto wagon. A couple years ago, started making a popping sound. I believe there's like gears inside of here, like a gear reduction. Maybe that's it right there, and it's stripped somehow, so it makes noise when there's pressure on it. And then you gotta help the window up. So instead of getting a motor and fixing this one, which I think you have to pin it or something, I forget, there's some way you have to pin this with this. When you move that motor, everything snaps back and it takes your hand off. I changed them when I was like 14 in like high school, and then I forget how I did it. We did like 4 of them, and I was helping out, but I needed a window motor. So there was this crazy kid on Craigslist who used to post up ads for parts, and this is before I even knew about junkyards and stuff. This is like 2010. So I got a molding on one of these little door bottom molding things on these cars to keep the dirt out, because it ripped on this car, and before I was moving it was really hanging off, so I just ripped it off and drove it down here. So I got that. That was the first time I met the kid. The kid's email was Caprice Hot Boy, and then it was the area code 239, and I'm thinking, Caprice Hot Boy, like, that's so strange. Whatever, that's what they chose to be the best name. That's their name. Second time I deal with the kid. No, first time I get the molding. Second time I deal with the kid, I ask him if he has a window regulator. He goes, yeah, I got a ton of those. Come over here at like, I don't know, I'll call you at like this time. Well, the kid's all like messed up, so I think they stayed up late playing video games or something. It probably was about my age at the time, like 23, 24, something like that. And so he calls you like way later than what he said he was. I'm like, oh, God damn this kid. So he's kind of hard to get a hold of. So he invites you over to his house. It's like a little garage, weird little house, like down by I guess one of the beaches or something on the coast. And there's no drywall on it, just the little beams hanging. So he has all these window regulators hanging from the beams. So he's like picking, going like, I don't know. I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. I go, you sure? Yeah, that's it. So I go home, I start taking out the window regulator. He gives me a front one instead of the back. You know how you tell the front from the back if it's hanging? You see this little third leg over here? Where that slider is? These never break, those sliders, I don't know why. The driver's window, it's longer on it. That's how I think I figured it out. And this little beam piece over here too is also longer. So go back a second time. I call the kid up. I'm like, yo man, that was a front one. I didn't even think he was gonna be honest on it or whatever, but he was, so which is awesome. So we go back down there again, take the ghetto wagon, but the window's like wedged up. I bring this with me, so we're comparing it. It goes back to his stash. No, I don't have that one, but I got one on my parts car. So I'm thinking he has like a car behind his house or something, or maybe his friend's house. Come on, let's go for a ride. Come on. So get in the ghetto wagon. Alright, we're sitting in the ghetto wagon. I can't get in here to do a accurate recreation. We're following this kid. He's in a flat black 9C1 Caprice, which actually wound up at the junkyard a couple years later, and the junkyard kid bought it, and then he freaking crushed the car. I don't know, the car had a lot of good stuff on it, but it was kind of rough. No rust or nothing. But he gets in that car. Obviously he has no air conditioning, so all the windows are down. He's like blasting his crazy music. He's driving the vehicle like Ace Ventura. I mean, he's like sitting in it I'll try to show you. Sitting in it, but he's like driving like this, like out the window, with one hand out the window. like with his head out, like sniffing the air, trying to like feel out where this parts car is. I'm thinking when we're gonna get there, it's gonna be a parts car, like a car in a field. No, it's not that. So we're driving along. He stops, gets out of the car. He's like sniffing around, like looking at these like fields. Like, nah, that's not it. That's not it. Gets back in his car, keeps on driving. We're going these like barren roads. I don't even know where the hell it is. I gotta go try to recreate it because it kind of was a cool area. It's like these abandoned roads, and one like turn was like extremely banked too. It was kind of cool. It was almost like a racetrack the way it was set up, and there's no one around. Gets back in the car, starts driving around. We go through all these crazy turns. We don't know where the hell we are. Could have got like ambushed. And gets out of the car, jumps out again, second time, maybe it's the third time now, and starts flipping over doors in a field. He has 4 doors from an Impala. They were dark green gray, but someone else painted them this other green color. But the finish on them is like perfect. Whoever painted them, he's like, oh yeah, this car was from Miami. Probably had one of those $4,000 paint jobs on it or something. But awesome, like paint job. Whoever did it, you know, if the car was hit in the front or whatever he did to this car, he probably should have saved it instead of just cutting it up or whatever. So he's flipping over doors. Obviously, we find a left rear door, Impala door, same as a wagon. Just the glass is different and the cut's different. See, square. Rounded, same with the glass, only difference, insides are the same. So he flips open that door. He has a hammer in his hand. He might have had a drill too or something, or maybe he called someone with a drill, and they start drilling out the little rivets to get the regulator out. He pops off like the window with a claw hammer, and it's like, I don't know, he got it out so fast, and then it's like he just holds it up. Like maybe like someone's like giving birth or something, and that's like your kid. Window regulator! Like, window regulator! I just remember seeing him like squatting on the ground. Window regulator! It was fucked up. We got that, and it worked out. It was a little bit rusty over here, but I just wire wheeled it, because obviously it was sitting in a field. But the thing worked, because the sliders always break on the windows. So obviously when that happens, everyone's a lazy mother effer, and they don't fix it, and so the window motor's like new because those little tracks break. So that was a pretty freaking funny story about that crazy kid, Caprice Hot Boy. I have no idea what happened to him. That's a very strange name. I looked that up on like Urban Dictionary, what hot boy means or something. It's some weird ass shit. And it's another story about getting parts for your old car. Everything you get, you know, either there's new part, old part, the adventure, you know, no one can take that away. You know, your car is worth whatever if it's, you know, insurance is going to give you for it, or you sell it to some knucklehead, which I wouldn't. But the story behind that vehicle, and they get this and that and the adventure, no one can take that away. And I think that whole story is so much more valuable than the actual car. And if you get rid of the vehicle, or get rid of whatever it is that has that story, the story's over. It's never going to come back. That, you know, it's a closed chapter instead of always being an open book, which, you know, if it's a cool story, you never want it to end. That was funny, man. Freaking window regulator. I pulled this out, though, and as I was thinking, the whole story came back to me, even if it was like 5-6 years ago. But I want to explore that area, because I don't think the kid lives there no more. And I don't know, probably the way like his cars were showing up at the junkyard, he just like needed money as soon as possible, or something happened, get kicked out of the place. I don't know. So those doors could very well still be there, and it might have good glass in the door or something after. So I almost feel like trying to like recreate where you were. And I have no idea what like the address was, where his house was, but I know some of the roads. And start looking for him. If I find him, I find him. If I don't, I don't. It'll be a fun adventure. So that's our adventure video of the day. It's probably 10 minutes long. No one's gonna watch this shit. But yeah, pretty damn funny. Everything has a story.